Hello everyone, I am Ravi Jaiswal, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Gandhi Smarak Mahavidyalaya, Surjanagar, Jayanagar, Muradabad. Today I am going to teach a topic that has been prescribed in the syllabus of Guru Jambheswar University. Subject English Literature, BA first year, first semester. So the topic is elements of short story. And the topic comes in the paper English Prose and Writing Skills. This is the unit 2, elements of short story. So before going through the elements of short story, we need to understand what is short story. Tiny but weighty, unforgettable and powerful. Short story is basically the fictional prose narrative. It is fictional, it is the type of a prose, and it is narrative. It is usually shorter than the novel and novella, and it usually deals with single plot and few characters. It falls between 1000 to 8000 words. So now we'll unpack the secret ingredients that makes the punch above the weight. That is the element of short story, which make story. So there are basically 5 elements of short stories: plot, theme, characterization, narrative technique, setting and structure. Now we'll go to each elements one by one. First comes the plot. Plot is the sequence of incident. It is the main story and it deals with the characters and the conflict which arises between the characters. So plot is the soul of the story, and there are two kind of plots, simple and complex. So the second element of the short story is theme. What is this theme? Theme is the central idea that is going through the story. It is the subject matter, or we can say it is the moral of the story. Theme can be single and it can be multiple also. But in short story, usually we have single theme, and in novel we have multiple themes. For example, as a story that is prescribed in our syllabus, The Last Leaf by O. Henry, the theme of this story is hope. Now comes the third element, that is characterization. It is the art, and characterization is the way the character has been created by the writer. Characters can be flat and characters can be round. And there are only a few characters in short stories, whereas in novels we have various characters. Like, for example, John C. is the main character of the story The Last Leaf. Or we can say protagonist. John C. is the protagonist of the story. And we have antagonist also, that is like having some villainous attribute. Now comes the fourth element, that is narrative technique. How the story has been narrated. So there are various kind of narrative technique like point of view, foreshadowing, or the imagery that has been used by the writer. So now in this category, narrative technique, will talk about the point of view. How the story has been narrated, from which point of view it has been narrated. So basically in novel or a short story we have 3 kind of narrative technique, or we can say 3 point of view, first person narrative, second person narrative, and third person narrative. In first person narrative, the narrator is protagonist, or it can be a character which is very close to protagonist. Usually it has been addressed like I. And the second person narrative, the writer directly addresses the readers using you. And in third person narrative, it is narrated by someone outside the story who knows something or everything of that story. There are two types of third person narrative: limited and omnipresent. Now comes the last element of source story, that is setting and structure. What is this setting? Setting is the time and place where the story happened. For example, the time shows the theme also. It is chosen by the writer in that context, and the time and place can be reflected in the theme. Now the structure. Basically, the structure is the main plot, and the structure of a story combines with exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Exposition is the beginning of the story, rising action when the conflict arises, climax when it comes to the peak, falling action means now the conflict will be resolved, and resolution is the conclusion of the story. So now we have been cleared with the elements of source stories. Thank you.